Canadian Railway runs from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific, 4,000 miles of iron road that spans 10 provinces, 5 time zones, swamps, mountains, and frozen desert. It's a trip I've always wanted to make, and then I heard it was closing down for good. It was now or never. The railway had built this country and tied it together from sea to frigid sea. What would happen to Canada when it disappeared? I began my journey in the Atlantic fishing town of Sydney, Nova Scotia. I've always been rather intrigued by this Sydney because I come from the other Sydney, halfway around the world.
Where are you from?
Sydney.
You're from Sydney and the first time you're in Canada?
Correct. The real Sydney.
Oh, Sydney, Australia.
You got it. Half our mountain.
Oh, you're down under.
Exactly.
You're down there, boy. You want a card?
Okay. Got it.
Got it?
There we are. Thanks, George. Thanks.
Welcome.
And the railway station's down that way.
Yeah, down that way.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay, buddy.
That fish was fresh then, but it's a long way across Canada. Tactfully, I dropped it off at the hotel and collected my baggage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Via Rail Canada's rail liner for North Sydney, Sydney Mines, Port Hawkesbury, New
Not many
Glasgow,
tourists take this train. Atlantic Canada is economically dying, and sadly, its principal exports seem to be people heading west to look for work.
Okay, guys.
You going to Vancouver?
Vancouver, all the way, sir, yep. Good board, up to the left, smoking, not smoking, back down from the walls.
And even sadder are some of the people who stay behind.
All aboard!
And so I joined the migration west, from which many passengers never come back. The songs of these Nova Scotia people seem haunted by the sadness of saying goodbye to the sea.
Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast. Let your mountains dark and dreary be. For when I am far away on the briny ocean tops, will you ever heave a sigh and a wish for me?
Oh, Murray's my name.
Murray. My name is Bernice.
Oh, hello, Bernice. Hello. How are you? How are you? And where do you come from?
I come from Newfoundland.
Oh.
Corner River.
Trains are great for meeting people. I soon met Bernice from Newfoundland, a Canadian island province they call the Rock. I was her first Australian. In fact, Bernice had only left her island home for the first time a few years ago.
When I left Iraq, I was 33 years old when I left Iraq.
For the first time?
Yeah. I used to think about it when I was small. What was the outside world like? What was the other places like, right? I was only small, I never traveled, right? know, are the people different from where I come from, where I'm at? Right?
What about this train? You've been on this one before?
No, this is my first time on the train.
First time on a train? Really? Well, how do you like it?
I think it's great. It's beautiful. It sees all the trees.
You get a great view, don't you?
It is gorgeous, I tell you. The birch trees and the poplar trees, that's the most trees that ever grows in the woods. They're the ones that shows up Mother's nature. It does. And the maple trees, I forgot that.
Yes, there's a lot of maple trees around here. I've already noticed that, yeah.
You did, eh? So now?
Now, this is all new to me, you see. I haven't seen a maple tree before.
You never
I mean, except from on the flag, there's a maple leaf. But
You never seen a maple tree?
Wasn't sure what they look like.
You don't know what you're missing, Mother.
This train was only a small branch line, an 8-hour run that connected up with the main Trans-Canada line. It collected people in villages along the way, taking them to Halifax, Montreal, Toronto, the big world around the bend.
01018 Sydney subdivision. No alarm.
You ready?
Many of these young people were out of work. Their region is poor and getting poorer, partly because the fishing industry is dying.
Codfish jigging, that's what they're doing. That's what's nice, Mother, codfish jigging. I used to do that. Yeah, it's so nice when you get some on a jigger. When you hook some, I used to get them like that. My friend took me out one time in the boat. Yeah, some fun. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful, my dear.
Oh, look over there. The ducks, or geese, I imagine then. Yeah, geese. That's geese. They haven't all left yet. Still,
Crept up over Old Joe Hill, as though I buried a sheep. I like to tell you a story, and although I make you laugh, we couldn't take any chances, so we had to steal a cow. The old cow got angry, and we woke her from her sleep. We couldn't take any chances, and we went and stole the sheep.
Go with the spoon.
1, 2, 3, everybody! I divide to build a boat, and I divide to sailor. I divide to get the fish, so bringing them out to lighter. I don't want your maggoty fish, they're no good for winter. I can catch better than that down on the Mister.
Down the pier, down there. Where you are, Parody?
They sounded cheerful. I thought they were happy to be going back to work in Toronto, Canada's biggest city. But I was wrong.
A lot of people up there, a lot of hustle and bustle. I didn't like it at all.
You know, your friends are when you're home. Like, in the community at home, there's, you can go 20 miles easy around the whole place, and everybody's your friend. Up there, you don't know anybody that's even next door. It's totally different.
Everybody's out for themselves up there. They just look after themselves. I don't know.
The people that goes away from Newfoundland, I don't think they should have to go away. No, I think that's a crime. There's no jobs. They gotta go away. They gotta bar up their homes, and they gotta go up there to make a living. Enough to get their unemployment, and they comes back and that's it, and then they gotta go back again. I figures years to come, nobody is gonna be in here. It's gonna be a ghost town.
I grieve to leave my native land. I grieve to leave my comrades all.
This train doesn't run anymore. Soon after my trip, it closed.
And the bonny, bonny land that I do
It was time to start a little background reading. Coming up was my first stop and my first Canadian city, the famous old naval port of Halifax.
The train from Sydney is now arriving
300 miles covered, only 3,500 to go. Berenice had got off one stop earlier, but I'd made another new friend. His name was Tom Gallant, a one-time singer who's now a full-time sailor. He invited me aboard once I'd looked around Halifax. People here certainly haven't forgotten where they came from. Halifax is the capital of Nova Scotia, which means New Scotland. This was British North America. And at first sight it still looked to me more British than North American. Canada only got its own maple leaf flag 25 years ago, and some places still don't seem to have heard about it. The British war against their rebellious American colonies was fought from Halifax. Here they don't seem all that pleased that George Washington won. I could see a Canadian identity was emerging here, but slowly, almost reluctantly. Perhaps it's because Nova Scotians were comfortable with the British Empire. In fact, geography's put them a lot closer to Britain than they are to the far-off provinces of Western Canada. Life in Halifax isn't all fish and chips. I'd stumbled on the autumn Mardi Gras, a citywide bash that takes over the whole of downtown.